All right, let's predict Alabama's offensive depth chart. What's up, everybody? X-Wing Sports here, the place where if you got that hunger for that Alabama football, this is the place where you need to be. So if you hadn't hit that subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's my goal, and I appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out a whole lot. So the first position on the depth chart is quarterbacks that I'm going to cover. And we got Bryce Young, of course. He's going to be number one. He was phenomenal last year. 4,872 yards, 47 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I mean, he won the Heisman for a reason. We're not going to be talking about him. He just had a phenomenal season last year. We all know that. But, guys, it's going to be Jalen Milroe as the second string. He was just phenomenal in the A-Day game. He really showed what he had, what it took to be a backup for Alabama this year. Actually, I think he beat Bryce Young. He beat Bryce Young's team, but he's going against the second stringers, but he definitely did a great job, and he's got speed, a lot more speed than Bryce Young does. So he's going to be more like a Jalen Hurts kind of guy, but I think he's a better thrower than Jalen Hurts. So let's I have really high hopes for Jalen Milroe. He's a really good athlete, and I think he's going to bring our offense. I think he's going to be the future of Alabama. But Ty Simpson's going to be the third string, and he had a really good showing in the Elite 11, I think. But he's looking to impress this spring. We'll see who will get that number 2 row, but I think Milroe is going to be the backup for Bryce this year. Next up, we have running backs. So Jahmyr Gibbs is probably going to be running back number 1. He had 89 carries and 460 yards, 5.2 yards per carry in 2020, and 3 touchdowns that year. 2021, he had 153 carries, 746 yards, 5.2 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns, and a long of 71, and also 38 receptions and 470 yards in the air. So he's kind of like a dual kind of weapon, Swiss Army knife kind of guy. He's really versatile. He's going to be a really big weapon for Alabama this year, more like a Josh Jacobs kind of weapon for us. But he's got tremendous speed. He tore it up in the A-Day game, broke a 70-something yard touchdown in the A-Day game. So he's really, really good in space. So I think RB2 is going to be Trey Sanders. This guy, he had so many injuries. He got in a car wreck one year, and I think he tore his ACL the first year he got injured. But this guy, when he committed to Alabama, he said, "I'm going to win the Heisman," and that never happened. But this guy is so motivated, and he's worked so hard to get where he is. In 2021, he had 314 yards, 4.4 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. Had 55 yards in the air. This guy was supposed to be the next Mark Ingram or something. This guy was supposed to be, he was a 5-star coming out of Florida. He was supposed to be really good, but injuries has just really held him back. So Chase McClellan is RB3 on my depth chart. He's going to battle it out for Trey, and it's going to be a close decision for Nick Saban, but I think Chase McClellan was RB3. He had an injury last year too, so Roydell Williams is going to be behind Chase McClellan for 4th string. He had a big injury too last year, but both Chase McClellan and Roydell Williams are both juniors, so they only have a couple more years to prove themselves. So next up is tight ends, and without a doubt, Cameron Latu is going to be the starter for tight end. He had 410 yards last year and 8 touchdowns. He was a red zone threat every time we were in the red zone. And he didn't even have that many touches, 26 receptions, 15.8 yards per reception. He had a great season, I would say. And I think Cameron Latu can possibly get into the 600-yard range this year. He has a potential, and maybe even 15 touchdowns. He's a big guy, 6'5", 250 pounds. He's a beast. So Robbie Oates is going to be the second string tight end, if not starting, if we're in a 2 tight end set. He didn't really play much. He only had 1 reception for 8 yards last year. But from what Nick Saban is saying, he's one of the most improved players following the AD game. I expect a whole lot of good things from him. And really, that's all the tight end depth we have. We don't really have a whole lot of depth. We have a freshman, Amari Neblack, and then we have Elijah Brown, freshman, and we got Danny Lewis Jr., freshman. So, like, we really don't have a whole lot of experience in the tight end. So, next up is wide receivers. And I have Ja'Cory Brooks as the wide receiver Z. He had a pretty good season last year. Actually had an incredible catch against Auburn to win that game. So, if it wasn't for Ja'Cory Brooks, we probably wouldn't even beat Auburn. He had 15 receptions, 192 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Ja'Cory Brooks also helped us beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. I think he's going to be the starter. And then after him, you have Trayshawn Holden. Then you have Thaiu Jones-Bell Jr., and then you have Chaz Preston after that. Next up is wide receiver X position. I'm going to give it to Jermaine Burton. In 2020, he had 404 yards, total yards, and 3 touchdowns. 2021, he had 497 yards and 5 touchdowns. I think Georgia was holding Jermaine Burton back, and I think that with a good quarterback in Bryce Young, he's going to definitely get over 1,000, maybe even 1,500 yards this season. Then after that, you have Christian Leary and Aaron Anderson, which I think Aaron Anderson is very good. I've heard very good things about him in spring. I think they're going to have to find a way to get him in the game somehow because he's just got tremendous speed. And you got Kobe Prentice, the incoming 4-star freshman. So next up at wide receiver H position, I'm going to give it to JoJo Earl. He didn't have a whole lot of production last year. He had 12 receptions for 148 yards and 0 touchdowns. But he had transferred Tyler Harrell from Louisville. So I don't know if he's going to be incorporated in the H position or if there's going to be a battle there. But I'm going to go ahead and be safe and call it JoJo Earl. And then after him, you got a couple of freshmen, Kendrick Law and Isaiah Bond. And for now, one of the weakest units that we're probably going to have is the offensive line. At left tackle, I'm going to say Tyler Steen is going to be the starter. He was a transfer from Vanderbilt, and he started all 12 games at Vanderbilt. I think he's the much needed experience. You know, Kendall Randolph, he's probably right behind him. He kind of struggled last year, so I don't expect him to start. So Tyler Steen, then Kendall Randolph, then Amari Knight. Left guard, you got Javion Cohen. He earned starts in 14 games last year, missing only 1 due to injury. But he's got plenty of experience, so I think he's going to start. And then behind him is Terrence Ferguson. So at center, I think it's going to be Darian Dalcourt. I think he's going to start over Seth McLaughlin, but I think there is a battle. But Darren Dalcourt, he's a senior this year, probably going to be the center. And then after him, James Brockemeyer. Then on right guard, we have Emil Ekiyor. He's got a lot of experience. And then after him, Damian George. Right tackle, J.C. Latham is going to be the starter. And then after him, it's going to be Tyler Brooker. And then Tommy Brockemeyer after him. But definitely the offensive line is going to need a lot of help. That's the main issue, I think. That's our one weakness, I would say, our offensive line. We don't really have a whole lot of experience. But I would say Emil Ekiyor and J.C. Latham is our best 2 guys. And Darian Dalcourt has a lot of experience too. We just need some help. I hope we figure it out during the season. That pretty much concludes my offensive depth chart breakdown of the Alabama Crimson Tide. If you like this stuff and you want to see a defensive depth chart breakdown, please hit the like button and comment below, and I will make one. But if you like Alabama football and you like college football, then please hit the subscribe button, and you won't be disappointed, I promise. That's pretty much it, guys. I'll catch you guys later. Have a great day.